going on, Dolphins? It is your boy Dillon, and I am bringing you the Dolphins at Bills recap. And I definitely have a lot that I want to say. I took a gang of notes, if you can see here, gang of notes on things that I want to discuss. I was like, man, I'll get into that in a second. Let me just give you the breakdown of the game. Let me get that part out of the way. And then I'm going to get into it because obviously I got a lot to say and I'm going to go off on some shit. So let me go ahead and get straight into it. And then obviously, of course, I have, the post-game press conferences for you afterwards as well. So clearly we lost 42-17 to the Bills. We end the season at 7-9. They ended at 6-10. Lovely, lovely, lovely. So let's see. We had 225 total yards. They had 381. We had 126 passing yards. They had 215. We had 99 rushing yards. They had 166. Excuse me. They had we had 3.7 yards per play. They had 6.3. We lost 2 fumbles. They didn't lose any. We threw two interceptions. They threw 1. We were 25% on third downs. They were 45%. We had the ball for 29 minutes, 42 seconds. They had it for 30 minutes and 18 seconds. We had 4 penalties. And they had 3. Seems like there were a million more than that. That seems kind of low, but that's apparently the official count. Anyway, passing statistics, Ryan Tannehill was 18 for 31, 58.1% completion percentage, 147 yards, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and a 43.3 passer rating. Josh Allen was 17 of 26 with a 65.4 completion percentage, 224 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, and a 114.9 passer rating. Rushing leaders, Kalen Ballage led the way for us, 12 rushes, 47 yards, and a 3.9 average. Kenyon Drake had 11 rushes, 43 yards, and a 3.9 average. Ryan Tannehill had 2 runs, 9 yards, 4.5 average. Josh Allen led the way for them, 9 attempts, 95 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a 10.6 average. Chris Ivory had 14 rushes, 45 yards, and a 3.2 average. And LaShawn McCoy had 10 rushes, 26 yards, a touchdown, and 2.6 average. So real quick, I just want to say, before I get into all the rest of this stuff, our defense held the running backs to not much. Do we need to fix our issues with running quarterbacks? Absolutely. So I'm just going to throw that out there real quick before I get into my evaluation of everything as a whole. Receiving leaders, Kenyon Drake led the way for us, 5 of 5 for 52 yards. Kenny Stills was 3 of 7, 27 yards. Danny Amendola, 4 of 5 for 26 yards. Mike Gesicki, 1 of 2 for 18 yards. Durham Smythe was 3 of 4 for 14 yards. And Ryan Tannehill was 1 of 1 for 3 yards and a score. That was when Kenny Stills tossed him a touchdown. Zay Jones led the way for them, 6 out of 9 for 93 yards and 2 touchdowns. Chris Ivory was 1 of 1, 46 yards. Jason Kroom, 2 of 4 for 32 yards. Robert Foster, 4 of 5, 21 yards and a score. LaShawn McCoy, 2 of 3, 18 yards. Fumbles, Ryan Tannehill had 1, lost 1. Kenyon Drake had 1, but didn't lose it. Kalen Ballage had 1, lost 1. Defensive statistics, Jerome Baker led the way, 6 solo tackles, 1 sack, 2 tackles for loss. Devon Godshaw had 5 solo, 1 assisted, and a tackle for loss. Cam Wake had 4 solo. Mike Hull had 3 solo. Raekwon McMillan had 3 solo and 4 assisted. Jalen Davis, 3 solo, 1 assisted. Cornell Armstrong had 3 solo. Andre Branch, 2 solo, 1 assisted, 1 tackle for loss. Torrey McTyer, 2 solo with a pass defense. And Rashad Jones, 1 solo, 2 assisted with 1 interception for 29 yards and a score, pick 6, and a pass defense. Tremaine Edmonds led the way for them, 11 solo, 1 assisted, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss, 1 interception for 17 yards and a pass defense. Jordan Poyer had 7 solo tackles and a pass defense. Levi Wallace had 7 solo, 1 assisted with a forced fumble and a pass defense. Lorenzo Alexander had 4 solo, 1 assisted. Kyle Williams had 3 solo with a tackle for loss. Rafael Bush had 3 solo and a tackle for loss. Micah Hyde had 2 solo, 1 assist, 1 tackle for loss, 1 pass defense. Shaq Lawson had 2 solo, 2 sacks, 1 tackle for loss, 1 forced fumble, 1 pass defense. Tre'Davious White, 2 solo tackles, 1 interception, 1 pass defense. Jerry Hughes had 1 solo tackle, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss. Jordan Phillips had 1 solo tackle and a fumble recovery. Before anybody goes saying anything about Jordan Phillips doing anything, he barely did anything. He's only on there because he had a stat other than his 1 solo tackle. Just saying, because I know motherfuckers are going to want to pull shit from anywhere that they possibly can. Star Latulele had a pass defense, and Trent Murphy had a fumble recovery. Kicking, Jason Sanders was 1 for 1 on his field goal. It was 29 yards out, and 2 for 2 on his extra points. Steven Hauschka missed his only field goal, but was 6 for 6 on his extra points. Matt Hawk had 5 punts at 35 average, 1 inside the 20 with a long of 54. Matt Darr had 3 punts with an average of 37 and a long of 44. Kickoff return, Kenya Drake had 4 with a 22.5 average with a long of 26. Sonoris Perry had 1 with a long of 18, average 18. Kalen Balaj had 1 with a long of 10, average 10. Victor Bolden had 2 for an average of 22 and a long of 22. Punt return, Danny Amendola had 2 punt returns with a 4.5 average with a long of 8, and Isaiah McKenzie had 2 with a 4.5 average and a long of 9. Keys to winning, stay healthy. Well, we went into this game. Xavier Howard didn't play. I want to say TJ McDonald didn't play, I don't think either, but I'm not 100% on that. So, but point is, we already had a couple guys that weren't playing, and then Torrey McTyer got injured on a play that shouldn't have even happened. I'll get into that in a minute. Rashad Jones apparently got nicked up after his pick 6. And I want to say there was somebody else that got injured, but there was at least 2. So we didn't really stay healthy. We got, a couple guys got hurt. Although it doesn't seem as if those injuries are anything serious. I believe, I want to say that Torrey McTyer is in the concussion protocol, and I have no idea what happened to Rashad Jones. So we'll see, but I don't think there wasn't a big deal made about it. I hadn't seen anything really yet, so I don't think it's a big deal. So hopefully not. Play fundamentally sound football. Well, I'm gonna say not really on that for a couple reasons. One, the interior of the offensive line is definitely a huge problem. Particularly, on that left side, left guard and center. Jesse Davis had some rough points as well, but we definitely got to strengthen that interior of the offensive line. That is a major thing that I've been talking about for a while and has been one of the big problems. After you get past injuries and the bad officiating, then you start talking about things that actually can be blamed on the team and the personnel and stuff like that. Is that, that offensive line, the interior of the offensive line has just not been good after we lost. Well, they've been all right. To be fair, they've actually been all right overall when we were at home. But on the road, they have just been, terrible. We couldn't run the ball for shit, whatever. So as far as penalties go, there were a ton of them, and they were terrible. I'll get into that in a minute. Like I said, I took a lot of notes. But other than that, there weren't any, as far as I was concerned, and when I was watching it, I think there was 1 or 2 penalties that they had were legit. So overall, they did all right as far as I'm concerned, because most of it from just watching the tape, not even just watching it in real time, but watching the replays and stuff like that. I mean, it's clear, just crap calls. So. And then win, well, we didn't win, so obviously that didn't work out so well. So those were my 3 things for this game that I told you in my preview that I cared about. Well, none of them really happened or worked out well, so yeah, there's that. So let me go ahead and get into this, man, because like I said, I have a ton to talk about. So first and foremost, there was a roughing the passer penalty on Kiko Alonso early in the game. It was on their very first drive that they got 7 points on. It was a bullshit call. It was super weak, dude, on Josh Allen after he broke out of the pocket. He barely even fucking pushed him. I mean, and so, by the way, you know, anybody who can replay this stuff, you know, if you got NFL Game Pass or whatever, and you can watch it for yourself. I mean, it's clear on tape. It was, oh no, I'm sorry. It was my fault. I'm getting this wrong. It was a roughing the passer penalty. Josh Allen scrambled and he ran for it, and he went to slide. Kiko Alonso was mid-tackle. As you know, this is not the first time that he's had this happen to him this year. He was mid-tackle as he's going to slide, but he recognized that he was sliding, so he literally shifted his body. So what hit Josh Allen was maybe a little bit of his shoulder and mostly his back. Right, so he shifted his body so he wouldn't land on him hard, and so he wouldn't, you know, take out his face, because literally, if he if he stayed straight instead of shifting his body in the way he did, he would have gone head first straight into Josh Allen's face. Okay, the dude would have been a fucking vegetable on the fucking field if he would have, you know, gone through the full tackle, but instead he fucking does the right thing and gets called for it anyway, which I believe gave them a first down on third, which would have held them to at least a field goal. But no, you know, and then they end up getting you know, or no, it was I want to say it was actually, it was right before it was a couple plays before their touchdown. Anyway, my point is, though, it was a completely ludicrous call. He did everything in his in his power to avoid it, but gets called for it anyway. And the thing that comes to mind, though, is I think it was last year, the hit that he got so much fucking grief for on Joe Flacco that left the dude in concussion protocol. You know, I still think that Alonso was, you know, just trying to make a clean tackle, but of course, with the fucking offensive bias that they have, the defense can't play fucking football at all, and especially towards quarterbacks, they treat them like fucking snowflakes, like they're fucking gonna melt. But he did everything he possibly could, and then McTyer ends up getting injured on that series in a play that he absolutely should not have been injured on, which is actually, I believe, the next play. So to get it all straight in my head, because there was so much stuff to talk about, it was actually the next play in which there was a pass. There were two penalties on the very next play. There was a holding call on McCoy, and then there was a pass interference on McCain. The holding call on McCoy was absolutely legit. In the replay, you see him just literally wrap up Cameron Wake and then throw him to the ground. Obvious, right? You can't do that. But then the pass interference on McCain, if anything, the receiver should have got called for pass interference, because he straight stiff-armed Bobby McCain in the face before the ball was even thrown. Straight, and again, you can see this shit on replay, so it's blatant and obvious. So he stiff arms Bobby McCain in the face, and in response, Bobby McCain like pushes his arm away or whatever, and he gets called for pass interference. That's bullshit. That is such offense bias again, and that was the play I believe that McTyer got injured on, and it shouldn't have even happened. But, you know, anyway, whatever, so fuck it, right? Later on our next drive, Tannehill gets sacked, but there was, on the play, there was a missed roughing the passer penalty. The dude's helmet fucking went straight into the head and neck area of Ryan Tannehill, and at the very least, by the way, all the rules are written right now, there should have been a penalty. Even without the stupid, you know, weight on a quarterback rule and stuff like that, it should have been, because it was to the head and neck area of the quarterback, but no penalty. Whatever, that kills our drive. Let's see, on Tannehill's first interception. Oh, and I'm sorry, that was the play right before Tannehill's first interception. If they would have called it like they fucking should have, it would have been 15 yards for us and an automatic first down. And I guarantee, at the very least, if nothing else, the play call would have been different on the very next play that Tannehill threw his interception on. But upon further review, because they showed later on the replay, there was a clear pass interference on the defense on that play. The dude, I don't know who the defender was, but the defender had our receiver wrapped around, was holding his arms. This happened a couple times in the game. In fact, I'll get to another one later. But and the ball went right by the receiver and into Tremaine Edmonds' hands. So, you know, the receiver couldn't do anything about it because he had his hands literally like pulled down to his sides. The dude was like bear hugging him basically, and there was no call on that interception. And then, you know, they go on to score 14-0 at that point, you know, on their next short ass drive. As I said, my next note is interior offensive line is a huge problem. I mentioned that they definitely need to draft a guy, at least one guy, for the interior offensive line high in this next draft, without question. Look, man, if you guys want to get rid of Tannehill, which I think is going to be absolutely stupid, but if you guys want that and they do it, well, guess what? The next quarterback, it doesn't matter who it is. They could take him #1 overall. It doesn't matter who the fuck it is. If he doesn't have an offensive line that can protect him, he's gonna get fucking hammered, and he's gonna look like shit, and he's not gonna fucking do anything, and then Dolphins fans are gonna get all fucking pissy and be on their fucking periods again, right? So let's see. Next, there was a sack on Tannehill where Nick O'Leary got completely fucking blown up. That was not on Tannehill. There was nothing he could have done. It came from his blind side, and it was in like half a second. So there's no way anybody, but I'm sure people are going to try and put that on Tannehill, of course. And then it happened again later, and it was when Tannehill fumbled the ball. It was his fumble, but again, Tannehill had no chance. Nick O'Leary got blown up fucking basically, you know, right off the fucking ball, and Tannehill had like a half a second to do anything, but couldn't because Jerry Hughes, I think it was coming down on him, and, you know, ended up getting the sack, the strip sack, which obviously then, you know, led to more points for them and blah, 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 blah. Let's see. On one of our drives before the 2-minute warning in the first half, there was a clear neutral zone, should have been a neutral zone penalty that would have given us a first down or whatever, and it didn't because they didn't call it, but it was clear as day in real time and on replay. So, you know, I don't know. Like, I'm going through a lot of this, and a lot of this is just, you know, shit ass officiating. So, you know, I mean, it's just absolutely crazy. There was a clear missed delay of game on the third Buffalo touchdown. The commentators even talked about it. It hits fucking 0, and then they fucking defend it with some stupid bullshit which I'm tired of fucking, you know, these supposed rules experts and just, you know, giving these weak ass fucking explanations and shit, you know, and it's just clear that they're trying to defend themselves for the lack of fucking training that they give these officials, the fucking, you know, defending the stupid convoluted bullshit impossible rules that they have. Let's see. After that, so on Buffalo's let's see. Oh, no, I'm sorry. After the Tannehill fumble, there was a clear hold on the first Buffalo play. Very clear hold on that play, but no flag. And then, let's see. After that, there was a clear hold on the Allen run after the fumble that was not called. Another clear hold. I mean, like, wrapping dudes up, hooking them, and, you know, crazy shit. It's just, but nothing. So, as I mentioned earlier, Kiko Alonso, this is just one of my notes, Kiko Alonso clearly turned his body, clearly turned his body trying to prevent injury, but gets called for it anyway. Later on in the game, Kiko Alonso and Robert Quinn got ejected. Robert Quinn, I will say, was fair. I was my initial reaction was that it was, you know, bullshit. But when they did the because I'm fair and I admit it when it's legit, right? So Robert Quinn getting ejected was legit because he grabbed, I don't remember who the Bills player was, but he grabbed him by the face mask and, you know, yanked his head down, and you can't do that. But Kiko Alonso got ejected, and it was just, he got ejected for the penalty he got called for, where he fucking, you know, turned his body to avoid and then after that there was a big like fight, and then, you know, Robert Quinn and one of the Bills players got into it, and that's when Quinn did his thing. Quinn absolutely eject him for it because he, you know, lost control and he did something he shouldn't have done. But ejecting Kiko Alonso for trying to fucking not smash the quarterback in the face and turn him into a vegetable is absolutely ridiculous. They called the penalty on him, and then on top of that they fucking ejected him. It's just absolute fucking bullshit, man. One of the highlights that I have on here was Rashad Jones's pick six, but you know, like I told you, he, you know, got nicked up after it, so he didn't play anymore. Jesus Christ. Later on, there was a super weak holding call on Laramie Tunsil. He didn't hook the guy. He didn't like grab him outside of the framework. It was just the dude was coming around the edge. He got low. He had a, you know, good bend on that. I don't remember who and, you know, Laramie Tunsil took him to the ground. But his hands were on his, you know, right here the whole time. And all he did was he just guided him to the ground, but they call a fucking hold on him, or whatever. And, you know, it helped to kill more of our momentum, more of the progress we had made on that particular drive. But then there was also a clear, it was a attempt at, you know, I think if I'm not mistaken, it was when we got our field goal, the 3 points towards the end. But there was a complete missed call on Micah Hyde. It was fucking blatantly obvious. Again, it was a defensive back who was literally like bear hugging the receiver. It was Devontae Parker, and his arms were like pinned to his body and before the ball even got to him. So I mean, it's like, it fucking blows my mind. Absolutely fucking blows my mind. And then later they called an unnecessary roughness penalty on Minkah Fitzpatrick when an offensive player, I think it was a receiver that he was guarding, like took out his legs, went for his fucking legs, which could hurt him, which could injure him, and literally all he did was on the ground, he just kind of like pushed him and was like, I imagine was like, dude, what the fuck, man? You know, don't be doing fucking shit like that or whatever. But of course, you know, there's no penalty on, you know, offensive players, and I'm not sure how the rules are written, admittedly, on the, you know, I think it's chop blocking or whatever. I don't know if it's legal, but if it is legal for them to do it, but not, you know, or whatever, or if it's legal for them to do it, then you know, it's kind of an offensive bias again, because it's like, well, you know, offensive players can just, you know, take out dudes' legs, but anytime you see a defensive player, like, you know, just because of the momentum of the play and the way it's going, you know, end up hitting or rolling into the quarterback's legs, they always got to fucking make a super huge big deal about that. It's just absolute crap. You know, and then on top of that, they were like, oh, well then, if he does it again, we'll eject him. The dude fucking took out his legs and could have fucking hurt him, and he's just like, yo, what the fuck, man? Like, come on, it's such fucking absolute fucking bullshit. Jesus Christ. And then there was another personal foul on Jalen Davis later. Honestly, I've had so much going through my head about all this, I don't even remember the specifics, so I'm not going to say one way or the other on that. I know it was kind of questionable, but I won't talk about it just because I can't remember the specifics right now, and I don't want to talk about something that I don't fully remember at the moment. But I mean, there's enough. There's tons of shit throughout the entire day. And then you know, I'll just say this: late, the Kalen Ballage fumble late when it was like a 3rd and 1 or something like that, and they were in the Wildcat. Yes, should he absolutely, you know, corral the ball, bring it in, and make sure he secures it? Without doubt. But at the same time, I don't fully blame him, and the reason why is because we're already so far behind at that point. We have converted a couple, you know, short 3rd downs in the Wildcat in the game, and he was just, you know, he was trying to make something happen, and he put his eyes up, you know, too quick, and he didn't make sure he secured the ball. Is that an excuse for why he, you know, didn't secure the ball? No. Again, he should have. But at the same time, and at that stage of the game, everybody's trying to do something. Just like on the very next, you know, when on the very next drive of the Bills, Zay Jones gets wide open and there's a breakdown in the secondary. Why? Because, again, I can't really blame them, because everybody at that point's trying to do something to, you know, make a play or whatever. And here's the thing. It's a double fucking standard and double-edged sword, because, you know, these players, they're all playing for their lives, for their livelihood, right? For their paychecks, for their jobs, right? And it's because, like, you know, the national media and Dolphins media and the fans, we put so much pressure on them to be fucking perfect all the fucking time that, of course, when you're down 35 to fucking 17, you know, players are gonna go off script and try and fucking make something happen, and then there's gonna be breakdowns. You could argue, well, they gotta stay disciplined the whole fucking time. But come on, if it was you, you'd fucking do the same thing. I would do the same fucking thing, because that's my job and my livelihood on the fucking line. And I'm trying to, you know, I'm trying to make an impression. I'm trying to do something. I'm trying to make a play. But obviously there's, you know, more than one person's doing it. And, you know, obviously there's going to be breakdowns and somebody's going to be wide open. So, you know, there's that. But look, man, I mean, honestly, just the way that the NFL is officiated at this point, and the way that they're just like ruining the game, for me as a fan, it's getting really difficult to even fucking watch. And then on top of that, then you have the stupid fucking commentators and like the national media in particular, a lot of Dolphins media, and then subsequently a lot of Dolphins fans that are all like, you know, they say outlandish shit. Sometimes that's just absolutely not true. I've heard some of these commentators say shit that was just factually false because of what happened on the field. But then, you know, constantly people just want to sit there and harp on, you know, the negative things without even applying full context to it so they can explain it properly and understand where fault goes. But instead, they just want to fucking get all fucking crazy and emotional, and then they want to just start fucking pointing fingers, and, you know, next thing you know, fucking more chaos and more catastrophe. So, look, I'm gonna end this video on this. If Stephen Ross, I mean, he hasn't made any official decisions, right? So technically you could say even Tannenbaum is safe. And personally, as you guys know, I think Tannenbaum should be left, at the very least, he should be given, you know, the same amount of time. Like, if he's gonna get rid of people, he should get rid of them all at once, right? So if he gets rid of Tannenbaum, in my mind, he should get rid of everybody and start, you know, fresh, ground one, blah blah blah. But I don't think that should be a thing, because one, I think the organization, the front office and coaching staff, I think they should be given, as you guys have heard me say before, 5-year windows. They should be given 5 years, especially considering the fact that a lot of the shit that has caused problems for us is not to be blamed on any of the players or the coaching staff or the front office. You can't predict that you're going to have 13 players on injured reserve and throughout the entire year missing, you know, your starting quarterback as well, your best cornerback, right? You cannot fucking expect that you're going to lose that many people. We just so happen this year to be at the top of the league for fucking injuries. Last year, you can't predict 101 million things that could happen that did happen. So it's absolutely fucking nuts, man. And the job that Adam Gase, he doesn't get the credit he deserves. He gets blamed for all kinds of crazy shit that he can't even control, but he doesn't even get credit for the things that he deserves credit for. And what he has done to you know, in his first year, he got us 10-6 when nobody thought we were anything, when we were basically in full rebuild mode. And the only reason why we didn't go further is because we lost Ryan Tannehill, our starting quarterback, to a very unlucky knee injury. And then second year, again, everything that could happen did happen, but he still managed to fucking eke out 6 wins, which to me is a pretty tremendous fucking effort considering. And then this year, it's just been ravaged by injuries. And, you know, the biggest thing is our interior offensive line and a bit on our defensive line. And those are the areas in which I think we need to address in the draft. But the past few drafts have been really good. I just think that it's way blown out of proportion. And I'll say this one last thing. Mark my words, Dolphins fans, that if Stephen Ross gets rid of Adam Gase and Ryan Tannehill, it's just purgatory basically for this team. We are not going to fucking fix anything. There are no quarterbacks in the free agent market or in the draft that are going to be anywhere comparable to him. And if we try and waste a high draft pick on a quarterback that's not going to fucking, be the franchise guy and don't fix up the fucking offensive line, well, that guy's going to have a fucking hard time too, because he's getting fucking sacked every 5 seconds. So, I mean, there's priorities that need to be held above others. But I'm telling you, man, Ryan Tannehill and Adam Gase, if they get fired, they will go on to have, just fine careers, if not very successful careers afterwards. And we are going to be left in mediocrity, if not worse. And god damn it, man, I swear sometimes I feel like Dolphins fans just want to be stuck there because of the way that they approach this. And the fact that they don't have full context for things, and they're constantly blaming people for things they don't need to be blamed for. And then, look, now we're gonna fucking, maybe we're gonna fucking blow everything up again and we're gonna start over. We don't need to. We've had a bunch of really good drafts with a lot of really good talent. Most of it's on the fucking injured reserve right now, so let them fucking come back, man. And, it's super fucking frustrating to me. The way people frame this and view it, and then start fucking, again, putting blame in places that it doesn't belong, and then subsequently just making the matter worse by fucking firing everybody and starting over, and in places you don't need to. So, anyway, I'm just gonna leave it there because, there's enough to digest, I guess, and I've gone long enough. Obviously, I still got to give you these press conferences, so I'll get those out to you guys. I know that everybody, most people disagree with me. I know the national media does. I know even, the other Dolphins podcasters, Dudley Do Wrong and TD, they're good guys, but, I know that they're gonna all be like, oh, these motherfuckers need to be fired and shit. And look, man, I don't agree, and it's not the answer. And like I said, mark my words, hear me now, quote me later, it's not gonna help anything for us. It's only gonna hurt if they get fired, and, then Dolphins fans are gonna cry about it later. But anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and get you off to these interviews. I hope you guys do enjoy my videos. I hope you guys do enjoy or, appreciate and like this, the different perspective, because no matter what, at the very least, nobody would be able to argue with the fact that I have a different perspective, than most people. So I hope you guys at least appreciate that. And if you do, make sure you hit the subscribe button, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you hit the bell if you want to get the alerts, and then, of course, leave your questions, comments, and concerns down in the comment section. Everything, leave your questions. I'll answer them in videos. If you disagree with me, tell me. I like having the conversation. Even if we disagree, we can agree to disagree. It's fine. It's not a big deal. So let's talk about it, because I enjoy it and I love interacting with you guys. And anything you can do, or anything you want to tell me that I should do, any suggestions you have, I'm open ears for all of that, without question. And obviously also make sure you follow me on Twitter at Dillon Tartaro. I am pretty active on there. I was certainly earlier during the game. So with that, guys, I am out. I will see y'all soon. Fins up.
The way we want to finish. We felt good coming into the game. There's good energy around the team. Good energy all week. Good energy taking the field. Got down early. Obviously, the interceptions hurt early. Battled our way back. Defense made a big play there right before half. We were able to score, get it to a tie ball game going into half. Felt really good about being able to come out second half and get the win. And obviously, we didn't execute. We didn't play good enough to to make that happen.
Right, obviously the two interceptions early on led to some points for them. Can you take us through that, what you saw, what happened?
Yeah, obviously those hurt us. We got down early and we're able to battle back, but you can't turn the ball over. The first one was in great field position for them. They didn't had a short field and they were able to take advantage of it. Guy made a great play. Thought they did a decent job covering it. Was trying to give Danny a late opportunity over the middle, kind of either him or throw away because the guy was right on his back. And the Mike came back from the other side and made a great play with it one-handed. And then the other one, we were going to sprint out third down. Guy had pretty good coverage. I just got to throw that thing where either Kenny toe taps on the sideline or it's incomplete. That's where the ball has to go, and didn't put it far enough out there.
Right. There were a number of plays that looked like you had time to throw, but just couldn't get a throw off. Was it because guys just weren't open and just didn't feel like there was anything there to get the ball to?
Yeah, there was a few times where we had decent protection and they did a good job covering, taking away what we had on. Sometimes call a play thinking you're going to get one thing and they play something else, and you have to have a great route and a great throw to make it happen. And there's a few situations today where we didn't make that happen.
Right, I know this is premature and all that, but when you kind of look back at this season as a whole in the games you played, what's your evaluation of your type of the season that you've had?
Yeah, it's tough to think back right now of the whole season, but it's been it's like up and down. We've had some highs, had some lows. We just weren't consistent enough, all the way through the season.
Ryan, a unit wants to play better as the year progresses, and definitely at the end of the year. You guys seem to be playing better early in the year. You were 3-0, and not as good now. Why would you think that would be?
Well, there's a few different reasons. I think injuries definitely hurt us. Big time lost some key pieces over the course of the season, and just tried to evolve the offense to fit the pieces we had left. And we kind of dipped down once we lost a few guys and kind of figured out, okay, this is what we got, and then kind of got it going again. They're the third quarter of the season, and then obviously we just didn't finish the last 2 weeks.
Ryan, when we talked to you midweek, I know you were mainly focused on this game and didn't really want to talk too much about the long-range situation. But now that the season is over, how likely do you think it is that you'll be back in this uniform again next year?
I have no idea. No idea. Haven't communicated with anybody about that. I was focused fully on this game and coming out and winning the football game. Obviously, it didn't happen, but haven't had any discussions or anything. And obviously, the game just ended 30 minutes ago, so it's tough to even think about all that going forward. But I know God has a plan for my life, whatever that may be, and that's where I'm going to be.
Oh, was there any thought to it though, as you're walking off the field? Maybe this is my last game without anything like that.
I mean, you always know there's a possibility, but to fully go in depth to it, I can't really process that right now. Just you put so much into the game, into the week, and preparing and going out and winning a football game. It's tough to, for me at least, to take a big step back in the moment and think about all of that. Just really disappointed in how the game went today, and and not being able to come away and finish the season with a win.
Ryan, I think you played well enough for the job for the years next year.
I don't know. I think I had some great things. Took some big strides in certain areas. Obviously, we didn't finish strong, and you want to be playing in the postseason. You want to be competing for a championship. That's what every organization in the NFL is trying to do. So, yeah, obviously, myself, the team, we need to finish better. We need to find a way to win these games down the stretch when we have opportunities to put ourselves in the postseason and compete for a championship. So, to answer your question, I don't know. I'll have to go back and look, but the powers that be will make that decision.
Brian, do you think if you came back next season, you'd be able to be as a starter? Do you think you'd be capable of maybe grooming a rookie if they did draft a quarterback as well?
I'm not getting into all that right now.
All right, thanks, guys.
We turned it over. We just left a short field for them, which we can't do, and it just wasn't good.
What did you make of the ejections?
Yeah, I mean, it is. That's what they ruled. That's what it is. There's nothing I can do to change it.
Where do you guys go after this game?
I mean, we'll see. I mean, we got a long process to go, so we get the guys checked out after this, and we just got to kind of regroup and figure out how we want to do everything in the off season. So it's a long ways away for us right now, it feels like.
I know you said earlier this week you don't feel like you have to lobby for your job. How do you feel after this game? Do you feel like it was looking?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even thinking about that right now because we just got drummed on the road. So.
Coach, come out of the box, you throw 2 interceptions, they scored 2 touchdowns, 14-0, climbing up the rest of the way. Certainly a tough job to come back from that all the way and win this football game.
Yeah, I mean, we couldn't do anything. I mean, we had to play well offensively. We didn't do it. We turned it over. Did everything opposite of what we've done all year.
What is the frustration offensively? I know we talk about just getting first downs, but it seems like it's been a challenge almost each and every week.
Yeah, if we're not going first down, second down, first down, we're in trouble. Our third and short, we at least got a shot. We can do some things that are quicker. The Wildcat stuff helps us. Balaj being able to go back there, we've been pretty reliable. I mean, we have the dropped exchange there at the end, which is unfortunate. And, if we're anywhere past 3rd and 6, it's just something's always going wrong.
Because you were a couple weeks ago looking at the football team saying you could end up 9-7, and here you're on the other side of that. As you kind of take a snapshot of the season, what are your thoughts? I know it's a little premature, but as you look back.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to think about right now. We just know those last few games, it was tough. After the Minnesota game, we lost 3 more starters, and that hurt us the last 2 games. Losing Frank, TJ. We thought X might be able to come back. He wasn't able to come back, so and then today losing Rashad, Bobby. That just doesn't help us.
And looking at the defensive numbers, this was the second most points you guys have given up in a season. What needs to change on that side of the ball, do you think?
Well, having our starters out there at the end, the second half would have been a start for us. But I mean, we got a lot to look at.
Coach, did you have a conversation with Mr. Ross before you came in this room?
No, he didn't say much. I mean, usually after the games, if we win or lose, there's not a lot said there.
All right, thanks, guys.
Alright guys, it looks like you've reached the end of my video. So I hope you guys enjoyed the interviews. I hope you guys enjoy my show. If you do, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the bell if you want to get the alerts. Make sure you leave your questions, comments, and concerns down in the comments section. Also, follow me on Twitter at Dillon Tartaro. You can hit me up there, leave your questions there. Or just hit me up, or check out my tweets, my retweets, so on and so forth. And so with that, guys, I am out. I will see y'all soon. Fins up.